Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to our trailer 2 reaction, I guess, of sorts to Jurassic World Rebirth, quote unquote, the final trailer, which I hope so. I feel like they still haven't revealed too much, just enough to kind of draw people in, but I was worried considering Universal's track record that they would just give you the entire plot, because that's what they've been doing lately. So far, I think there's still some surprises. There's definitely things I would have held off on showing, one of which is behind me, but it looked really cool anyway. But I think it would have been better to see in person in the theater. As you can see, we got Cool's members Andrew, Sam, and of course, you should know him up there. We got David Soros Rex. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well. How about yourself?
We're doing good. How about you, Sam? Andrew, doing pretty good?
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing pretty decent. Better.
Hey, it could always be worse, right? So we got to stay positive. We could be watching Snow White 2025.
That's what we're doing next weekend.
Oh, that's why I took a vacation next weekend.
He has to take time off to prepare for it.
So let's start with trailer 2. What are your guys' feelings compared to trailer 1?
I enjoyed both trailers. Trailer 2 seemed to have been a little more exciting to me, a little more, I feel like is more revealing. Like you said, I hope it didn't reveal the entire plot. But it got me more interested in the video. But I mean, I love Jurassic Park. I love Jurassic World. I love all of Jurassic series. To be honest, I'm extremely excited for it. I know a lot of people are kind of hating on it right now.
Really? Because in the Jurassic community that I'm in, they're loving on it.
Are they really?
Yeah. There's a lot of like big YouTubers that like do just Jurassic that were iffy up until this trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because, once again, they keep telling us they want to go darker, and the first trailer looked like Indiana Jones. So,
like when I'm talking person to person, when I'm talking to people at work, when I'm talking people to, around me, they're like, you know what, they just need to stop doing this, and I'm like, you know what, I fucking love that. Don't ever say that to me ever again. I'll slap the shit out of you. But
I mean,
I'm excited for it.
Sorry.
Hey, as long as they don't,
I feel like this recording is going to be used in a lawsuit.
They'll just be like, "Did Andrew slap you?" Yeah, look, he threatened me. I hate Jurassic Park. To be fair, though, there was a time in Jurassic Park history, pretty recent history, especially you guys follow the channel, that I was definitely on board of let's stop making these. Especially when their big idea was, let's mix it with some Dom Toretto and do Fast and Furious mixed with Jurassic Park, which would have been dumb as hell. I would have taken the dino-human hybrids over that. That's how bad that Fast and Furious one would have been.
Now, I know we've talked about this, Keegan, and I agree it would have been the worst idea ever, but we would have seen Vin Diesel riding a T-Rex, and that scene alone might have been worth it.
I mean, if you want to see that, just look up the Arc 2 trailer.
Did Arc 2 do a trailer with we made him quit. He's going to come slap one of us.
Arc 2 trailer, the animated character is Vin Diesel, so yeah, kind of. He's not riding a T-Rex. He's kind of being chased and fighting one while fighting other guys, but it's basically that. That's probably why he wanted to do the fast rendition of it, is because of Arc 2 and what he's doing with them with Wildcard with that one.
I mean, I would have watched it. I don't like Fast and the Furious, but I would have watched it just to see how ridiculous it would have been. Just like if they would have gone through with the 21 Jump Street Men in Black crossover, I'd have watched the hell out of that. Probably be terrible, but I would have been there.
I mean, it probably would have been pretty funny.
Yeah, hey, I am all up for ridiculous crossovers. I feel like that was something they really did, like they leaned hard into in the 80s that we just kind of got out of. But I mean, like Scooby-Doo had episodes with everybody, dude.
Right.
They definitely did.
Well, here's a crossover that was really wacky. I think it was 80s, like you were saying. I don't know if you've ever seen the Jaws ripoff movie Orca,
Nope.
but it's about a killer
Hey, you know what?
whale.
You know what? I really enjoyed that movie. So I hope you're
That's
not
neat.
about to knock on it.
No, I was just saying they were gonna they had
You gotta be careful,
plans.
he'll slap you.
They had plans to cross it over with King Kong in space.
What?
How that would have worked, I don't know, but that was a legit like
I don't feel like
pitched
the
idea.
orca was big enough to have really had any threat against King Kong.
Right? Like this giant ape is fighting Godzilla, but here's an orca, a normal
Because I feel like
orca.
it would have to be, yeah, it would have to be like if you told me the Meg was doing a crossover with King Kong, like, oh, okay, that could be interesting.
You know what? You know
But-
what? If he was messing with the orca's kid, right? I guarantee the orca would have done something about it for sure, and it would have been messy.
He would have been like family, and then got Vin Diesel, and Vin Diesel and the orca would have.
I feel like maybe like a Free Willy crossover with King Kong, and instead of the whale like jumping over at the end, King Kong just like throws him like a football, just like into the ocean. I'd watch that.
Right. Back to the trailer on hand, though. Maybe one day, if you guys want to help us, we'll start a GoFundMe and we'll make the King Kong orca movie where he throws him into space. David, what were your thoughts between trailers 1 and trailer 2?
I will agree that it did feel a little darker. I think just the beginning with, obviously something going wrong at the lab and them trapping that guy behind it with the dinosaur coming up behind him definitely introduced that darker kind of horror element a little bit more. And then they did a lot of the like dinosaurs in the high grass, like sniping people down. Like they're leaning into the fears a little bit more, a little bit of that. So the suspense stuff, that could be kind of cool. Your comment earlier about how the first one looked like Indiana Jones, like you need to shut your damn mouth because Indiana Jones is a classic. Okay. I will watch half pretty much of the Indiana Jones movies any day over any Jurassic Park.
Literally just watched Raiders of the Lost Ark and Temple of Doom yesterday, and
see, Temple of Doom's kind of my mid movie. It's all about Raiders and Last Crusade, in my opinion.
The Last Crusade was great.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that one as much.
And then the two newer ones, like Crystal Skull's The Pits, and then Dial of Destiny was like maybe they should have brought somebody else in and kind of done a soft reboot,
Imagine if they brought what's his face from the Solo movie to play Indiana Jones as well.
Honestly, I would have been fine with it. I think that would have been a better move instead of trying to do old Indiana Jones and the CGI weirdness that we got for like 20 minutes. Like it was a little weird. But that's a different topic for a different day. As far as this goes, I liked it, but I was sharing with you earlier. I don't understand why every Jurassic Park movie now feels the need to shoehorn in kid characters. I don't want to see children being chased by dinosaurs. I don't give a fuck. Like they're there, and it's like, why? Who cares? And it looks like they try to have some little cute baby dinosaur that's in a backpack. No, I want that thing to die. I don't need it. That does not belong in this movie. So I hope that kid and the dinosaur both just get fucking smashed, like eaten at like 30 minutes in. Like realistically, I feel like some of these people in these movies would have been like, fuck them kids and let them get eaten.
I mean, that one guy in Jurassic Park 1 did that. He ran out of the Ford Explorer.
Right, but that was more like he was just saving himself. I feel like in these, like, you're being chased. Why not trip a kid so the T-Rex has to stop and eat the kid so you keep running? I'm just saying, there's different places where this could have happened. I feel like we do have a lot of the plot, especially when you put the trailer together with the summary that they released a long time ago, how they're trying to... This makes no sense to me. They're trying to get the DNA of the 3 largest dinosaurs. Like, it feels like the plot may be shaky. But like all Jurassic Park movies, it's just an excuse to see dinosaurs eat people. So we're not going to look into it too hard. I hope it's good. The last 2 have been garbage, in my opinion. I liked the first Jurassic World. I felt like it was a good return to form, closer to Jurassic Park and kind of the premise this was all started on. The next 2 after that kind of lost the thread. They got way too into the genetic thing of things. I know they wanted to go into the genetic dinosaur/people thing, which would have been the dumbest move ever. That would have been even worse than the not Fantastic Four, the Fast and the Furious, in my opinion. because I really hope that that's not where this movie is leading, because I know they've had a hard on to do this for over a decade, that they really want to do the genetic people dinosaur things. I don't want to see that. I don't like the design of a lot of these dinosaurs. I get that they're the mutations, so they're supposed to look funky and weird and all, but they just look goofy as fuck, man. Like they showed the big bad dinosaur with his like huge skull. Like he looks like a Down syndrome dinosaur. You know, it doesn't look like anything that I'd be like, oh no, I'm scared. I'd be like, why is this alive? Like, how did this not die out? He looks awful. So I do think though that the T-Rex that's there looks awesome. It looks bigger than the ones that we've seen before. Like that's what the mutations should have been, like something that makes them scarier, like bigger dinosaurs. Maybe some have like an extra appendage or, you know, something creepy like that. But the way they went on some of these designs is just dumb. So I hope they don't focus on the dude with the skull too much, because that's just, it doesn't look good. It looks stupid. If I was a kid, I wouldn't want a toy of that. But we'll see where it goes. I have not heard really anybody. I know you said in the Jurassic communities they like it, so maybe that's where everybody is. But I have not heard a lot of hype from anybody around me in my life or anything like, oh, Jurassic Park. But I also haven't heard a lot of negative. So it's not like there's a lot of people like, oh, I'm not going to go. So I think it's going to be, I think this will be kind of a make or break movie for the Jurassic franchise for a while. If this bombs, I don't think we see another Jurassic movie for at least a decade before they bring it back as something else. And if it does really well, I think this kicks off another trilogy. If this does the numbers they want it to do. And I mean, it's a fairly good property. People know the name. People love dinosaurs. It's got usually enough excitement to keep you interested, at least for the 2 hours you're in a theater. So I'm pulling for it. I hope that it does really well. And there's not really any competition. For some reason, nobody else can seem to make even semi-decent dinosaur movies. So maybe this is it, that they'll just keep it going, and I hope they do. I love, you know, Jurassic Park continuing on, just like I want Ghostbusters to keep going, and, you know, let's see some of those great franchises get revivals and keep giving us good stories. I think there's a lot of content that can be taken from this well, and hopefully they don't screw it up too bad here. I mean, I think it's safe to say Universal's going to try really hard. This is one of their like keystone franchises. They've got, you know, the presence in all the theme parks. They've got so much merchandise out there. It's got probably one of the highest name recognitions of any Universal movies that they have. So I think they'll be doing really well with this. I'm cautiously optimistic that it'll at least be a good movie. I don't know if it's going to be the box office champ of the season, but I think it's got a good shot to hit that $1 billion mark as long as it's decent. I think they only need to have, I mean, even a little above mediocre, and I think they'll get a home run with this one.
Yeah, no, I think this one is going to be one of the safer bets this year to hit $1 billion, just because there was people watching Dominion like 8 times in the theater last time.
And that movie was awful. So
yeah,
if this one can just beat that, I think people, and I mean, Scarlett Johansson's in it. That's a surefire winner right there. It's got good cast. It looks like it doesn't look like you have to have seen the other movies either. So I don't think anybody's going to feel like, well, I didn't watch the last two. You know, I think that is going to be okay. And to be honest, I mean, I know that we've been talking about Jurassic versus Superman versus Fantastic Four. I don't think Jurassic is going to get cannibalized as badly as the superhero movies, because the other two aren't really like this. It's not really, it is for the same audience, but it isn't. I know there's a lot of people out there that'll go see a Jurassic Park movie before any comic book movie. You know, just the genres the way they are. I feel like it's more fan basey when you're talking about Superman, Fantastic Four, like Marvel, DC, comic book, superhero stuff, whereas Jurassic Park is closer to being a generic action movie.
I can 100% relate to that. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's just, you know, it's dinosaurs, but it's not like characters. It's not a story. It's not a world. It's, okay, people go on an adventure and there's crazy dinosaurs. That's pretty easy to get into, pretty good buy for people. Now with the horror element, it may keep kids away a little bit. I noticed it is still PG-13, so that's good. That's not going to kill their sales or anything going R-rated, even though it'd be a badass movie, I'm sure.
R-rated's fun for the adults, but to me, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, it is all about the kids getting interested in dinosaurs.
Exactly, and I dig that. I have no problem if this makes some kids out there want to become paleontologists someday. just makes them more interested in history and, a part of things they hadn't looked into. I think that's a total win right there. Just like Ghostbusters. If it opens somebody's mind to, hey, maybe there's something else out there, I think that's a win. I think that's really good for those kind of communities. It's a great way to be an ambassador for that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Throwing kids into science, 100% is always going to be a good thing. So
So
I don't think this is going to bomb. I think it's going to do great. Again, I don't know if it's going to be the top of the summer, but I think it's going to do what it needs to do to give us another Scarlett Johansson and crew movie in a couple of years.
Sam, what about you? Thoughts between 1 and 2?
My initial thoughts on the first and second trailers that came out is I think the second one would probably have been a better first trailer. But after us talking about like it not being like dark in the first one, I think the first one should have just been the only trailer and then let the people experience the darkness in there and just being like, oh, this ain't gonna be bad, and then just being like, holy cow, what happened? And so I was just like, after kind of hearing some people talk about it, maybe they shouldn't have done the second trailer in the way that they did and just like let it be that suspense in there. But also it could also be a bad sign too, that it's not going to be great. So I'm all hit or miss on it right now, but I'm definitely going to watch it and enjoy it because Jurassic Park has always been good, and it's not like the same repetitive stuff like superhero movies are.
Yeah, see, for me, my reaction definitely, it leaned more into what they've kind of promised us, which was obviously it's going to have that adventure. It's hard not, so you're going to have some wonder, but we're going to make it suspenseful and dark. And you definitely see that even with the music choices seem a little bit darker. I think the thing that surprised me the most was, second most, was the amount of like red herrings they had in the first trailer. Where like the first trailer we had the two-headed tiger raptor from Lost World in the like cryogenic thing, and it turned out to be the Mutadon. So they hid it for this long. I don't know why. Maybe CGI wasn't done. They also changed the design of the Titanosaur from trailer 1 to trailer 2. I don't know if that was feedback. We haven't seen the Spinosaurus, so maybe they're kind of adjusting that design. Kind of surprised there. My biggest surprise was they showed the Mutadons at all. We saw them a little bit in a scene kind of harkening back to Michael Crichton's Lost World book when they're in the worker village. So that's exciting. It seems like there's at least enough from the books too that they pulled that we haven't seen. I mean, the River Raft is the biggest thing. They made a whole theme park ride around it, and it never made the movies. They try to fit into the games. And this is something when they started working on this movie pre-Dominion was Spielberg and Kep said, we got to figure out how to get this scene in because they really loved it when they went back and read the book. So I don't know. It's also going to be interesting timeline-wise to see where this happens. It seems like a lot of the Distortus Rex, D-Rex, whatever it is, the big bad, gets created before the Indominus, so maybe this was a failed Indominus like mutation. We'll find out. I still think there's going to be some character turn, like heel turns going on that we don't see, and I really don't think this was the laboratory for the original Jurassic Park. I think that's something that's going to come out later that was kind of a red herring just to get like ScarJo and them onto the island.
Yeah, no, I think it was some like either competitor of Engine or some rogue people from Engine doing their own stuff nearby, and that's because I don't think Hammond would have approved any of this.
Mm-mm. I mean, in canon, we kind of see he got mad when I guess Maisie was a clone, but then she wasn't a clone, and that's again the retconning just ruins the movie canon. But yeah, him and Lockwood broke up as far as business partners because he like cloned his daughter. If you watch Fallen Kingdom, so I don't think he'd be pro like, let's just see what we can throw out there. I did kind of like the idea that the Mutadon was like they or they pulled DNA from a mosquito that had just like gotten blood from like a raptor and like a pteranodon or something, and so it was mixed together.
See, and stuff like that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I also think it's very interesting the way history has shaken out, that when the first movie came out, when the first books were written, that really is what people thought dinosaurs looked like. and the way that that's evolved to how we seem like, well, they had feathers, they had, more like that kind of thing. And they've been able to be like, well, yeah, we've been in genetics since the beginning. Remember, this isn't what real dinosaurs looked like. You told us to change it. Like, I think that's cool that it just kind of helped out the storyline of how reality kind of shook out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know they try to do it a little bit more too in Dominion, where they were like, Biosyn was creating more like realistic dinosaurs, and we know how I feel about that Giganotosaurus.
Don't knock on Jiggy.
I knock on Jiggy all the time, but I love Jiggy. It's a love-hate relationship.
It's interesting because I feel like they also would have already taken this technology in this world and kind of done what they're somewhat trying to do here, where they would have brought back like extinct, more recent animals.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dodo bird, woolly mammoths, things like that. I'm surprised we haven't seen it being used to, or like, hey, we brought back the carrier pigeon, just things that aren't dinosaurs. I feel like there was a lot of practical uses that government agencies, for different people would have tried to already make happen and have going on in this world, because this would be like a genetic.
To me, that's not as fun. You can go back 20, 30,000 years,
right,
but
I'm talking
to
about
go back
to
150 million years.
Realistically, like if this was the real world that we had this kind of technology, people would be doing this kind of thing and bringing back a bunch of like recently, or like the white rhino that just went extinct. They'd be able to save those kind of things. I feel like there's a lot of that would be going on. It wouldn't just be, oh, let's make a theme park,
or let's make really bad dire wolves that aren't wolves, or they are wolves but they're not dire wolves.
I mean, that's a moral thing altogether. But I mean,
right, and I feel like there used to be a lot more of that. They seem to ignore a lot of the actual real world, like politics and things that would go into all of this.
I mean, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it right. You go back 150 million years, you go back, 200 million years or something like that. If you can do something like that, why wouldn't you? Wouldn't you?
But Andrew, imagine how many butts you could get into seats with a mammoth fighting a T-Rex.
Well,
that would be cool. That would be cool. So, I mean, this to me, like I'm looking at it as, so my boy is 8 years old now, and he loves all the Jurassic Parks. Of course, he loves the originals, but he likes Dino Dan, Dino Dana, stuff like that. That's actually putting out real facts, and he's pointing out things in the movies that are like, this isn't supposed to be like this. This isn't supposed to be like that. And I'm explaining to him, what they're doing it genetically, and putting different genetics to make the animal. And that's kind of the way that you use cloning. Like if you're going to clone a woolly mammoth, you don't have anything else besides a freaking elephant to be able to do that with. So it's not going to 100% be the same thing as the original. But I mean, because of these movies, he enjoys learning about the real facts of the animals.
I mean, that's good. I'm just talking about the politics that would be in like the movie canon world. Just like, I mean, honestly, I think even though it was the worst movie, I feel like Fallen Kingdom really hit up pretty difficult, right on what we would use it for, which is if we had this kind of technology with the genetics and acceleration and stuff, why wouldn't we basically grow our own organs again if somebody needs a transplant or something?
Yeah, see, that made sense. I was worried about where it was going with the cloning.
I agree, but I think if it was a real world, like if we actually get that technology in this, like in our world, I think that's a huge factor of what they would use it for, and be like, we can save lives with this. Why wouldn't we do it?
And they've made movies about this. You got Repo Man, you got Genetic Opera.
Right, but I'm saying in the sense that if it was used first for dinosaurs, like it would become a not dinosaur series if it was a real world thing, because they would use this application on vastly different things and potentially save millions of lives.
Well, and I think we should be able to kind of branch out outside of dinosaurs. Like I know Sam brings up the Titanoboa. I always bring up tadpole. Dunkleosteus would be cool to see with its weird tadpole features. But yeah, I mean, there's prehistoric crocs, like you said, cloning humans. Unfortunately, I think once you start doing that, it just opens it up. Yeah, and it becomes like Splice. If
Oh
you've
yeah,
seen
there's
Right.
no way that they can go into that storyline without it becoming not Jurassic Park.
Yeah. I
That's
would
why
be
I just feel like it was stupid to do the whole thing where it's like, oh, the dinosaurs got out into the world, because then if everybody knew it was there are some people that would never stop until they got their hands on the technology,
well, and
including
plus
government entities. Like,
they were like, hey, they all got out into the wild and then didn't show us that. That
yeah,
was dumb.
we never
They're
got
all,
to see like dinosaurs hanging out in somebody's backyard,
yeah, just like
or like zoos trying to capture them and have them on display, or
yeah, imagine like you get like a say a Nigel Marvin to be in your movie as like a wildlife guy because he's done movies like that where he like narrates like dino docs, but have him being like going over like how it's affecting the environments and stuff like that.
like you're gonna tell me if dinosaurs didn't really get out into the world that Universal Studios wouldn't be paying millions to have some captured to be put in the theme park? Come on.
But then they'd eat all the guests again.
Not if it's just like a Triceratops.
Unlike Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right, we can capture the pirates.
Okay, so I guess we'll go final round before this gets too long. Andrew, final thoughts on this trailer? Maybe anything you're expecting to be coming back up when we watch the film?
No, like I mean, I love Jiggy, and I hope to God that Jiggy is in the storyline, but I know that's not going to happen. I'm excited for the movie. I'm ready to watch it. And I want to do a review on the actual movie itself. That, of course, the trailers aren't going to show everything. I hope they don't anyway.
Yeah, I think this is the last trailer. They're gonna give too much away if they do anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just excited for it. I'm ready. I'm ready for the movie to come out and actually enjoy it with my son.
David, final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna go see it. I hope it's good. I hope it's better than the last couple ones were. And I'm optimistic. I hope that they can bring it around with this kind of new set of movies. But I also would not be shocked if this was terrible. I mean, it can kind of go either way right now, in my opinion. They've shown some good things. It looks like right now the most exciting stuff is based on the water, because the only things that really looked really worthwhile, in my opinion, is the T-Rex with the raft scene and the Mosasaurus hunting them in their boat when the other dinosaurs are kind of herding them towards it. Like, those look like the two most exciting things so far. Let's hope they're keeping all the land stuff kind of secret, because climbing up with the pterodactyls attacking them is like, that's stupid. That I didn't care about that. That looks dumb. But let's hope there's a lot they've kept under their hats to surprise us with. I'm gonna give it a chance, but I will say if this movie is awful, I might be catching the next Jurassic movie on streaming.
Sam, what about you?
I'm very optimistic about this one and excited for it. And Keegan probably knows what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. We're going to see a Spino T-Rex fight, and the actual champion of that fight is going to take the glory, because we all know the Rex would definitely beat the Spino.
Oh, especially in this one. Do you see how big that T-Rex is?
Oh, yeah.
That dude is huge. And then the Spinosauruses look like they're just the Mosasaurus's little bitch in this movie, where they're
Yep.
like helping him. Yeah, no. If there's a fight, yeah, I don't even know if you're gonna be able to call it a fight. T-Rex takes it any day with a Spinosaurus.
I'm really excited about the Spinosaurus. I'm sorry I didn't say that first, Mr. J, but Jiggy's my first choice always, but I saw Spinosaurus and I was like, I want to see that.
Because they didn't put him in the trailer. It makes me think they're redesigning him, because we know more than one scene has Spinosaurus. We know the one scene with the Mosasaurus, and then there's supposed to be later scenes. And I said it with Jurassic World because there was so much hate between the T-Rex fans, mainly the T-Rex fans hating on the Spinosaurus fans because of JP3. They should have had the Spinosaurus and T-Rex team up to kill the Indominus. Why? This thing, the D-Rex, is massive. Like, the T-Rex alone ain't gonna take it down. So have it team up with the Spinosaurus, the Mosasaur, like have like the real.
Again, it's because this one is special needs, Keegan. They're just gonna trick it and it's gonna fall off. No, personally, I'm excited that we're gonna see more of the Dilophosaurus.
Mhm.
I've loved the spitter dinosaurs since the very first Jurassic Park. Like I like them a lot. I like that they're coming back too. It'll be interesting to see what kind of genetic differences they might have.
Right. Yeah, it's the one dinosaur we haven't really seen, Velociraptor. We saw its claw, but apparently not a big role, which is kind of odd because it's kind of the flagship dinosaur.
I think because it's been overused.
Yeah, they got to make Velociraptors great again.
Yeah, bring it back in the next one.
They have to make them scary. I think where they went with some of the dinosaurs in the trilogy, Fallen Kingdom promised it, and we sort of got it, but it went way too Looney Tunes, and I remember watching it and coming out just feeling so disappointed.
I like how
It-
we've just totally gotten past the fact that the dinosaurs were like created to not be able to live outside of the island. That we're just like, oh, they just evolved past it.
Right.
Life finds a way, right?
And I
I mean,
wonder
they
too
kind of
if
explain that in the first movie when they said that they were like hatching eggs and all of that.
Right. That was like being born though. That wasn't necessarily about like all the precautions that they had. Like
yeah, because
Life
Finding
always
food
finds a way.
dinosaurs.
How many Armageddons have we had in the entirety of our planet? Life always finds a way.
Mm-hmm.
so far.
until the ultimate one. Yeah, no, and there's the talk of the disease, which they're saying it's heart disease. I'm wondering if the dinosaurs aren't passing it along because that's a big thing from the Lost World novel, is they have a disease that's spreading and it's killing the dinosaurs, and it can pass to humans. So we'll see if that plays a part into it.
That's so dumb.
I'm just saying, I don't know. I have faith because of the actor calibers that signed on to do this, that at least the script was good. Gareth Edwards, I think, is also a competent director. So we'll see. A lot of his shots already seem better than the entire trilogy. So yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic still, but I'm happy that they're leaning more towards the darker aspects that the franchise was built off of. I mean, a lot of people's favorite scenes are dark scenes, suspenseful scenes. The T Rex breaking.
Well, I
in the
also
first
do
one.
think it's a mistake if they go too dark like the whole time.
Yeah, if they go full Carnosaur, not
They need
good.
they need to do a good like balance. I understand making it a little more horror based and stuff, but again, getting kids into dinosaurs is one of the biggest good things about these movies.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm not saying go full Carnosaur. There's a lot of people that were upset by the PG-13 rating. We've had some
Why?
pretty gnarly deaths with PG-13 in the Jurassic series, so I think we'll be fine.
Yep. I mean, PG-13 nowadays is. I mean, if you go back into like the 60s and 70s, they're completely different ratings. If you would give them today than you would back then.
Yeah, look at kids' movies in the 80s. Pretty dark. But there's our brief little review. Maybe in a couple weeks, I will come back and discuss more in depth about the dinosaurs we've seen so far. But until next time, we will be back talking something for more little reviews to the left, more here at Cools to the right. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us what you thought of the trailer. And don't forget to follow David over at Abnormal Voyages.